Great, thank you. 4 o'clock. Meeting room will come to order. We're now holding the June 9th, 2025 meeting of the Cumberland County Fiscal Court, 4 p.m. Central Time, 3rd floor of the Cumberland County Courthouse. This time, I'll ask our magistrate from District 2 if he would lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time, Lord, thanking you for this day and, Lord, all that you've done for us. Lord, we're just thankful for all the blessings that you have sent our way, Lord, and pray that you will continue to bless us. Lord, we pray that as we go through this meeting here, Lord, doing business on behalf of the citizens of Cumberland County, that you would just give us the wisdom and the guidance we need to make decisions that will benefit all the residents of Cumberland County. Lord, we pray for the leaders of our state and the leaders of our country, and pray that they would always look towards you. Lord, we just pray for those who are sick, Lord, and pray that if it's your will, that you would just touch their bodies and restore their health to them. Lord, be with those who've lost loved ones, comfort their hearts in their time of loss. Lord, we just pray for all the storm victims. Lord, just pray that you would just comfort them. Lord, we ask that you would just go with us on through this meeting and through the further walks of life. And when you're done with us here, Lord, that you give us a home in heaven. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you would, please join us with a pledge of the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd also like to add, for those of you that feel so inclined, please remember in your thoughts and prayers several former Cumberland County officials. It's been a rough week for those former Cumberland County officials. We lost a former magistrate, Leslie Turner, and a former jailer, Bobby Riddle. So if you would keep those families in your thoughts and prayers. Attendance and roll call. This will also serve as a mic check. Magistrate District 1. Here. Magistrate District 2. Here. Magistrate District 3. Here. Magistrate District 4. Here. County Attorney Coleman Hurt. Here. Thank you, gentlemen, for making it a priority to be here. Gentlemen, in your packet, you have what was sent out to you in advance of the meeting, 3 sets of meeting minutes. We have April 14th meeting minutes to begin. In order to approve those, I'll need a motion, a second, and a prevailing vote.
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1, seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Next set of meeting minutes is from the regular meeting on May the 12th at 4 p.m. I'll entertain a motion to approve those as submitted.
Moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second? Seconded by the Magistrate of District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Last set of minutes in your packet from May 23rd, special call meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Moving into departmental reports, this is where the people of Cumberland County have an opportunity to hear from their appointed and elected officials. We'll begin with Road Supervisor, Mr. Ricky Melton.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Get a big house full tonight. It's good. We got the Homer Driver project completed, and those folks up there had us a big dinner, and just off the hospitality in the world, just couldn't beat them. I mean, they went all out with food and hospitality, and they never did complain about being put in having to cross the bridge with groceries and tea and whatever they did. It was just amazing, how good they took it, as long as they had to do it. The Logan's Branch Road down there, we had the Yagan basket to work at Cable South. I met with Hilton Adams at A&C this morning, and he's going to do the work down there. Dual counties, it's just hard then to take care of that.
Okay.
And I met with him, and we're going to get started as soon as the weather is kind rainy today, but they're gonna get some stuff ordered, see what they need and get it out, try to get it fixed, so.
That's good.
Gentlemen, and of course you all recall that was, I think, from the April 14th meeting when Ricky had brought that to our attention. And Larry, Coleman, thank you all for assisting with that to make sure that that did get repaired. So appreciate you staying on top of everything. Any questions for our road supervisor? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Greg.
EM Director, Mr. Greg Carey.
We were blessed again, May the 16th, when that tornado outbreak hit Russell County, into Pulaski County and into Laurel County. We had a lot of damage here in the county, but Erica from Straight Line Winds, Tri-County worked all night, all day the next day to restore the power. But we were blessed. But I also want to thank the citizens of the county, because through the radio station over here, we actually put out that we were going to take some stuff up our to them, stuff that they needed. And the citizens in this county filled that radio station full of stuff. So I just want to say a special thank you to them. And the people in Cumberland County did the same thing. And we took 2 loads up there, lot for 13, actually donations, other donations. We took $400 worth of gift cards up there also. So I just wanted to say thank you to the people of Cumberland County for.
And Greg, if I may interrupt you there just for a moment, to tell the people here today, also members of the court and those watching later, you and Gary White specifically went out of your all's way to respond quickly to those neighbors in need. And I know how things get sometimes. You've got people who they'll tell one way and then it comes out another. Greg and our county coroner, Gary White, they didn't leave Cumberland County and say, well, there's something that's happened there, we'll just forget about anything that's happened here. They both checked first and said, Judge, is there anything here that we have a pressing need to attend to? And if not, can we go and help these other counties? That they didn't get bonus pay for that. They don't get anything extra. They don't often even get a kudos for that. They went out of their way to try to be helpful to our friends and neighbors in need. It says a lot when a county with the 3rd smallest population doesn't mind to send people and show up to counties, not just to our right, our left, our north, and our south, but several counties over. So Greg, thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And on the tornado shelter in Marybone, as you all know, it is completed. We had a ribbon cutting. There is no chairs in there. It says inside that it will hold 107 people. But if you put 107 chairs in there, you're not going to get 107 people in there. What we are looking in with hazard mitigation and the people that actually sign off on this about putting some benches in there. Because I understand there's people that's not able to come and stand, but we can't fill it with chairs because it's for people. So we're looking into the benches to try to help that. And I actually filled out an application over the weekend, a storm-ready county. We're not, but after filling that application out, we applied, I think. Mike with the National Weather Service sent me an email this morning stating that he received it and he would record it. So I think we will be considered a storm-ready county after he reads that application.
Any questions for our EM Director, Greg Carey? Greg, thank you very much. ABC Officer Junior Smith.
For April,
Hold that mic just a tad closer if you can, or scream into it.
For April sales, $157,177.38. Year to date, $386,210.10. Regulatory fees is on this next page. Struggling with it. For April, $6,037.58. Year to date, $17,369.27.
Questions for our ABC Officer? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
appears to be in order. We added one more account last
Great. Do we expect that that will increase those regulatory fees for the year by very much?
Some, I'm
So-
not sure yet. This is the first month.
And gentlemen, as a heads up, for what will very likely be the July meeting, and if not July, then in August, expect potentially some cleanup changes to the ABC ordinance. There are some things that we've been made aware of that probably just for cleaning house and for the good of the order that we need to tidy up on that. Nothing that changes the overall picture of it, but just naturally clean some things up. Junior, do you agree with that? Okay. Any questions for our ABC officer? Thank you very much, Junior. Cumberland County Jailer, Mr. Thomas J. Brown.
Thomas J. Brown, Cumberland County Jailer. We had a total in May of 42 runs, 40 to Adair, 1 to Missouri, 1 to Indiana, for a total of 4,052 miles. As of the first day of the month, we had 26 in Adair. As of today, we have 24. There was a total of 13 on home incarceration for 265 days, saving the county approximately $9,040 in jail fees.
Mr. Jailer, that number looks just a little lower than it was. Is that right? Still high, but a little lower, so.
We had one Saturday night had to go to the hospital. First, they thought they was gonna fly one out, but we kinda got lucky there a little bit.
I appreciate what you and county attorney and the judges across the street are doing to still enforce the law, but to keep that jail bill just as low as it can possibly be. So, any questions for the jailer? Thank you very much, sir. Burkesville Mayor Laurel Irby. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. Sheriff Keaton Williams.
Good afternoon. For the month of May, we had 392 calls for service. We made 92 traffic stops, issued 33 citations, 20 arrests, responded to 6 non-injury vehicle accidents and 8 accidents that may have been injury involved, and 17 alcohol-related incidents. Would also like to add that in an attempt to save a little bit of money, we did get awarded the Attorney General's grant for body armor.
Great.
So that's around a $10,000 expense approximately. So we did get that. We've already fitted, just wait for them to come in the mail.
Great. Very good, Sheriff. That was something that you and I think talked about maybe 2 years ago, so I appreciate you staying on top of that and seeing that through. I know those grants are long processes. Specifically, I know that several of our younger team members appreciate you in your office. It just happened to be a coincidence for Junior Smith and Greg Carey to be as close as they were to the accident the other day here around the square. I do appreciate what you and your team do to keep us safe out on the county roads and then here right around the courthouse. That could have been a really rough situation. Appreciate you all responding as quickly as you did. Any questions for the sheriff?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Cumberland County Court Clerk Brian Morgan.
Just real quick, really nothing about the office, but everybody knows that there's a lot of scams going on through text message. We get calls every day. They're also through the mail. I had a guy brought me a postcard that says something about county deed records. That is a scam as well. From what we've been told, they will never text you anything. If you get it from text, it's a scam. If they're trying to notify you, it will be by mail. So.
But that one in particular is a scam that was
This is and it ends up being a warranty scheme too. So it don't even have anything to do with county records, but
okay.
there was a citizen in the county that brought me this, and we researched it a little bit. There are 3 odd million of those in circulation, so we may be seeing more of them. So,
Okay.
but if you get a text that you owe a toll, or you got a speeding ticket, they're gonna take your house, it's not true.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk.
One more.
Sure.
If summer conference coming up in 2 weeks, we get 15 calls a day about which driver's license coming to the county clerk's office. I don't know that as well. Trade Direction is going to be there to update us on the latest legislation, so may have some answers about it then, but from what we can gather, it is coming to the county clerk's office. We don't know. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll figure it out.
That is good to know, and I'm sure you will report back when you know for sure on that. I do think that the driver's license system at present definitely isn't as efficient as it could be. It's definitely not as convenient as it should be. But something that we need to recognize here as a court, if they continue, and we have really good representatives and senators in Frankfort advocating for Cumberland County, so if they watch this, I don't want them to take this the wrong way, but anytime you get a mandate that doesn't come with funds to institute that mandate, it's tough. And one of the things that I'm afraid that we may see as a result of this added workload on you all, if that extra work comes to your office and then you're required to do that, which you should do it if you're required to do it, but that's probably less time that you all can spend on co-part work, which makes the county some money back.
Well, and it's two totally separate entities. So it's different funding, it's different accounts. It won't be with the general fee account. It'll all be separated into two separate entities, two different audits. So there's a lot to look at.
Please do keep us posted on that. Any questions for the county court clerk? Thank you very much, sir. PVA, Ms. Gina Shea Watson. County Coroner Gary White. County Attorney Coleman Hurt.
No report, Judge.
Civics Club Judge Executive Sadie Arterburn.
This past week at Commodities, we served at 200 households. This past week, we visited the KET mobile news station. They expanded recently, so they have a news studio. We got to meet with the Friends of KET board. We got to sit on some important discussions, including their federal funding problems. So it was interesting to see their point of view. They were also kind enough to give us a full studio tour, so I got to go in and see all the cameras and all the cool stuff. It was really a great experience. We're just very thankful for our relationship with KAT and very grateful that they gave us a seat at the table. We started our new YouTube channel that shows our...
Judge, if you would, hold that mic just a little closer. Use your public speaking voice.
We started a new YouTube channel that shows the news of Cumberland County brought to you by the interns. It is called The Square on Air, and we basically talk about what's going on in Cumberland County. We tell jokes, kind of talk about what's going on with fiscal court, commodities, anything like that. So if you're interested, please go check that out. We are currently preparing for the 4th of July. We are still doing our kids' activities, so look forward to that. And next week, we'll be traveling to New York City as of right now, so all the interns are very excited. Some of us cannot make it due to other obligations, but we're also doing some great things as well. And yeah, then Memorial Day, we went and honored our veterans, and we're very thankful to UAW and American Legion with us.
Any questions for the judge?
Accept.
If you all would, if you have time and a reliable internet connection, it's probably worth, I think it'll probably go live tonight or tomorrow. They have put together what they are calling the Square on Air. We recognize that we all of different ages and different backgrounds consume information differently. Some people prefer the newspaper, some the radio, some TikTok. Some of those are age dependent, some of those are less so, but they have put together a little something that will go out on YouTube. We hope to have about 10 episodes before we make a decision if that will continue or not. If you have feedback, please let us know, so long as it's positive. If not, keep it to yourself. No, I'm kidding. If you do have feedback, please let us know. That would be handy. I do think that they've done an excellent job trying to make that information both entertaining and educational. So they'll be posting that sometime in the next 24 hours. At this time, I am proud to welcome a former Cumberland County team member, but once a Cumberland County team member, always a Cumberland County team member, Mr. Isaac Allen with Lake Cumberland Area Development District as our special guest to share some information with us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Thank you to the Fiscal Court for allowing me to address you today. I am the Regional Transportation Planner for the Lake Cumberland Area Development District. Part of my annual deliverables for KYTC is public speaking engagements, and I have selected this court to address for this year. I'll go over some of the offerings LCAT has in terms of transportation, and we'll highlight work programs that are ongoing throughout the year. To start with, I'd like to discuss Title VI. The Lake Cumberland Area Development District gives notice that it is the policy of the agency to assure full compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987, Section 162A of the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1973, Section 324, Title 23 USC, and related non-discrimination authorities in all programs and activities. It is LCAT's policy that no one person in the United States of America shall, on the grounds of race, color, national origin, and sex, be excluded from the participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be otherwise subjected to the discrimination under any of our programs or activities receiving federal financial assistance. The full Title VI plan for LCAT is available on our website, and our LCAT staff complete Title VI training yearly as required by KYTC, and so we can receive federal funding. Next, I'll move on to the statewide transportation planning process. The Lake Cumberland Area Development District statewide transportation plan is an accumulation of different aspects of transportation brought together into one plan throughout the fiscal year. The plan consists of bicycle and pedestrian updates, major traffic generators, truck parking inventory, intermodal connectors, highway freight network updates, rail freight loading and unloading, park and ride inventory, major freight users inventory, along with other portions as needed. The Regional Transportation Committee meets at the ad office to go over information related to transportation for the service area. This committee is the main point of contact for all updates regarding transportation. The meeting consists of updates from the two districts, 4 and 8, that are within our 10 county district. And the meeting also has a guest speaker that relates to transportation as well. These meetings are used to relay information as needed to the committee and to update on any new business. And all of those meeting notes are available on the website as well. Next, I'd like to discuss SHIFT, which is the Strategic Highway Investment Formula for Tomorrow. And Judge, we met earlier in February to go over this. I'm going to go over a brief timeline just to give you an idea of how the whole process works. So, LCAT works in conjunction with KYTC to address road concerns with county agencies to be added to the Governor's enacted transportation plan, formerly known as the 6-year plan. This process takes place every 2 years, and the process goes like this. We start with sponsorship, which just wrapped up on May 9th. That is selecting road projects from the CHAF database. CHAF stands for Continuous Highway Analysis Framework. And then those projects get sponsored by the county agency. Next is data verification. That runs May 12th through June 13th. And that's a review of sponsored project lists and updated project information in the CHAF database. Next is statewide prioritization, which is June 16th through July 18th. And that's statewide scoring and statewide project identification. Then is regional prioritization. That is July 21st through September 12th. Scores come back from the road projects, and boost points are selected by the county agency based on the scores. We will have a meeting in August with the county agencies to select which projects to boost. And I mentioned that last week at the transportation meeting. Next, KYTC reports to the legislator. That should be on October 1st. And they issue an official copy of the SHIFT 2026 scores to the legislator as required by KRS. And then finally, there's a draft plan. That's October 13th through December 19th. And that is when KYTC will develop that final draft plan and hand it over to the governor. Next, I'd like to move to mapping. We do have,
Isaac, if I may, gentlemen, if you'll recall from our previous conversation at previous court meetings, what he's talking about there, that fifth meeting, that's the 449 Hill going out towards the state park off of 90, and then Magistrate District 4, that's 2 sections of West 90 in your district. Thank you, Isaac. Sorry, go ahead.
we do have a GIS specialist. GIS stands for Geographic Information System. His name is Mr. Hayden Hancock. We actually just hired him last May, or this previous May. And he can make maps, whatever you need, big, small, we can print them off, whatever you need in terms of mapping. We also handle local road updates. LCAT is contracted with KYTC to update local roads as needed. This includes the addition of new roads, removal of old roads, renaming of roads, and corrections or updates to existing roads. And feel free to contact our office with any local road updates, and we'll get that information submitted to KYTC. I'd like to thank you again to the Fiscal Court for allowing me to speak. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to working with the court. If the ad or myself can be of any help, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your time.
Isaac, thank you. Any questions for Isaac Allen? Isaac, we're very, very proud of you. I always hate to see some of our team members leave us here, but it's also a bittersweet moment. We're very excited for the good and exciting things that you're doing to help people in our entire 10-county region. Thank you very much, Isaac. Moving on toward old business, but on the way there, I'll also make mention, we've got our Cumberland County Water District Manager with us. Want to thank the Cumberland County Water District for answering a lot of questions as of late. You all are doing an excellent job being transparent with the public and trying to communicate things. We know from personal experience that's not always easy, but appreciate what you all are doing to get those answers out there. Old business, letter A, status on discussion about Intra-local Agreement regarding county prisoners. Update from KY State Auditors. I do want this reflected in the minutes. We don't have an ordinance on that to present tonight. The county attorney and I have been communicating on that quite a bit. It does need to be reflected, though, that we are actively in that process. Is that correct, Mr. County Attorney?
Very much so.
Working with Cumberland County Sheriff, Cumberland County Jailer, appreciate their continued work on that. Here's what I would like to say, and Madam Clerk, if you would please make sure that this is reflected in the minutes. It is important that we comply with what the auditors have instructed us to do. But just as important, if not more important, is that we comply and get it right when we do it. So instead of trying to rush it through, check that box, and then end up having to come back, edit, undo, I do think there's something to be said for getting this right the first and only time we want to go through this. Gentlemen, any questions on that? If not, moving on to letter B, budget amendment number 6. Remember, these require 2 readings. This is the second and final reading of that one. It has been properly advertised. Is there a motion to approve the second and final reading of budget amendment number 6? So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Homer Grider Road, this will probably be the last time that we see that on the agenda, we hope ever, because it should outlast all of us now. Magistrate District 1, is there anything that you'd like to add on that?
I think it's went great. Great people. They've been great to us. The projects went good. It's finished and
Thank goodness. Yeah.
ready to move on to something bigger.
Well, hopefully not more expensive though.
Maybe not so much.
Any questions on letter C? Thank you very much, Magistrate District 1, for your leadership there, and Ricky Mountain Road Supervisor for making sure that that project was completed timely and within the budget constraints that were allowed. Letter D under old business, consideration of follow-up dumpster availability for Memorial Day flowers. That went over really well prior to Memorial Day. We offered that. Again, you all were very, very generous in trying to make sure that we were accommodating to those cemetery boards, cemetery committees, and private citizens looking to get rid of those Memorial Day flowers instead of throwing them over the hill. Since that was so successful there, I'm proposing to the court that we also allow June the 14th, 20th, and 28th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to allow members of Cumberland County, now do keep in mind, tell all your friends, we have cameras posted over at the Annex, so if we've got people driving from Texas to drop off stuff, that's not ideal. Also, if you try to drop off a couch or a chair, that's not artificial flowers, that's a problem. This is only for those artificial flowers. If you know of anybody that can use those times, please tell them. Members of the court, would that be something that you would allow? If so, is there a motion to that effect? So moved by the Manager of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Manager of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. No members of the road department will be required for that project, with maybe the exception of just unlocking the gate that morning and closing it back. On those days that are Fridays or Saturdays, we'll take care of that. We don't expect the road department to come in to do that. Humphrey Hollow Road update. Manager of District 4, is there anything that you'd like to share with us on that? I'm very pleased with the steps in that direction that we're making. We are trying to get that done this summer so that it does not interrupt the school bus being able to access the folks up that road. Anything you'd like to add, Manager
I
of
think
District 4?
Ricky and them got the detour put in. We're just waiting on the contractor to, he's like, rest, he had hay, he needs to get cut. So.
Okay. Any questions on Humphrey Hollow Road update from the rest of the court? Manager of District 4, thank you for overseeing that project. Letter F, County Staff and Personnel. We have with us today Ms. Carolyn Beatty. She is doing an excellent job in her new part-time role over at the Cumberland County Justice Center. I hear a lot of very positive things about you, Carolyn. I've told you that. I will continue to tell you that so long as I continue to hear positive things. Members of the court, you gave me the authority to, at the 30-day point, check back in with you and give you an update. I will do that. We're not that far away from that time. We'll hold a special called meeting to go over that. She did go through the background process, so that delayed the start time about a week and a half from the last meeting. So you'll be hearing from me and from Carolyn at an upcoming meeting. Carolyn, thank you again for joining the team and all your hard work. Letter G, Cumberland County Courthouse Landscaping Project Update. Gentlemen, at the last meeting or meeting before last, you approved a landscaping quote for the work around the courthouse, specifically the property that is touching the courthouse, that little grassy area where we installed, we being the folks that we hired, installed those lights to shine up on the courthouse. That area, according to the quote, was to be about halfway, just past those lights, and then up against the courthouse from there, decorative gravel. They came over on, what day was that? Wednesday, I think, of last week, looked at the project and decided that it would probably look better if instead of just graveling from the lights back toward the courthouse, if they put that decorative gravel from the courthouse side all the way over to that sidewalk. Well, naturally, being financially minded as we all are, the question is, well, how much extra does that cost? They are willing to do that at no extra cost because they do appreciate their partnership with us, and they want to prove to us that they are trying to earn and then keep our business for things like that. So that, to me, is a no-brainer. I hope that in the next couple of weeks, you'll see that project done. I do want to point out to those here, and as a reminder for those on the court, the State of the County address that we held back in February-ish of this year, we indicated that as part of our strategic plan, those improvements to the courthouse would be complete by this next spring. I do expect that that will take place. There'll be another courthouse renovation in here later on in new business. I do think if people ask you about things around the courthouse, it's safe to point to things like that and say, we are making those baby steps in the right direction. I appreciate specifically Miss Amy Morgan and some of her leadership here trying to head up a lot of this. So if you do see Miss Amy Morgan, make sure and thank her for her unpaid role in helping with a lot of that cleanup work. Any questions on the landscape update? If not, we'll move into the second and final reading of the Cumberland County Fiscal Court budget. Madam County Treasurer, has that been properly advertised in the Cumberland County newspaper and then posted in a public place?
Yes.
Thank you very much for doing that, and thank you to the newspaper for running it. Gentlemen, the budget has not changed since you last saw that. The budget is prepared in front of you. If you would kind of flip over to that part of your packet. That budget is what we operate off of for the year. That is, call it our goalpost, our financial goalpost that we have to make sure that we aim for on not just the revenue, but then hold ourselves back for in the way of expenses. I will tell you also, as part of that, you've got any type of salary changes, whether that be Sheriff's Department, Cumberland County Fiscal Court, direct employees, all of that shows up in there too. Gentlemen, if you would, because this is relevant to each of you, I'll hand you, if you would, Master District 3, take one of those, and we're down to District 4. These are your proposed salary rates for the year that go into the budget. This reflects what's in the budget. Do keep all of those in mind. We went through the process 2.5 years ago where we changed the system for those raises where it would be performance-based instead of something that wasn't, for whatever reason, performance-based. I do want to make a point on that. Performance-based pay raises, in case anybody's curious why more people don't do them, it's because it's a miserable process. They take forever, and you make people mad when you do it. If you give people an X% across the board, well, that's not really incentivizing those high productivity, high achieving team members that we've got. At the same time, if you go on the flip side and you end up doing performance-based evaluations, that is rewarding and identifying in a very candid, very private environment with each of those employees and team members one-on-one where they've done really well and maybe those areas of growth and improvement. It is something that you all should all be commended for, going through that process and allowing those performance-based pay raises to occur. Every single one of those, when they fill out those, or when they get those filled out, 3 pages and then a write-up on each one of them saying what they've done well and where we would most look for areas of improvement in the year ahead, you're looking at a minimum of 1 hour to complete one of those. With the right amount of thought that goes into it, not just check yes where everybody gets a participation trophy, but that's an hour that goes into it. Every one of those conversations then from this night forward, if you all approve these, I'll be sitting down with members of the Cumberland County team to go over theirs. And you're looking at a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes on average, if not an hour, where they get to hear directly from me all of those things that we believe collectively that they're doing well, and then those areas where we believe they have the biggest opportunities to step up and improve for the next year. So again, thank you all for that, and to all of the Cumberland County team members for taking that feedback so well, and not just hearing it, but applying that and moving the ball forward for Cumberland County. So just, that's been on my mind a lot recently because we put so much time and energy into that. Appreciate everybody who's been involved in that process. With that, I will entertain at this time a motion, if it be the will of the court, as the budget's been presented and those salaries. Any questions first from anybody on the budget? Splash pads included, several of those things that we talked about last time, several things that reflect your all's priorities for the upcoming year. Any questions? If not, what I'd like to do before we ask for that full motion is to say, Mr. Sheriff, Cumberland County Sheriff, if you would please come forward. The Sheriff of Cumberland County, like sheriffs across the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and I would imagine across the country, they're dealing with financial constraints that make it very difficult to operate with a staff that will stay with you where you're not having a lot of turnover. That's not a reflection, I do not believe, of leadership. That's not a reflection of your team. It's just a matter of we can't blame people for bettering themselves and taking opportunities outside of the Sheriff's Department if they believe that that's better for them and or their families. You have also in your packets, and a lot of that financial handout there, from the Cumberland County Sheriff, his proposed salary increases. And Sheriff, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you are also, with these salary increases, you are also willing to adopt the same performance-based pay model that we as a Cumberland County Fiscal Court have adopted for our team. Is that correct?
Fit for the sheriff's office.
Yes, yes. And what I think what he's saying there is, naturally the rubric that we use is not the exact same rubric that he uses, but it's the same process. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for the Sheriff on any of the numbers that he's provided in his handout there. You will notice that one of those lines now says vacant. The salary, he's left the salary there so that you all can continue to see that, should be behind this, so that you all can see that for informational purposes. He does intend to fill that position, so that's why those numbers are left in. Questions? If not, before we take the vote or entertain the motion, Sheriff, if you would have your team, your Cumberland County Sheriff's Department deputies, full-time, part-time, doesn't matter, if you would, I'd like to have them stand up and we'll give them the
I think
right.
there's two of them here.
That would be great if they would stand up, please. Junior, if you would as well, please. If you would, please give these guys a round of applause. Appreciate what you all do, and often when people don't know that you're doing it. This time, is there a motion to approve the budget with all of those supporting documents included and attached?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Sheriff, thank you. Please relay that to the rest of your team along with our appreciation.
Thank you all.
Very well, sir. Moving on to District 2 Skipper Lane update. Gentlemen, if you would, in your packet, this is following up on a conversation that we had at the last fiscal court meeting. We have in writing for today consideration of a public notice. This will be advertised so long as you all agree to this. This will be advertised, and then we'll send the road viewers out to this also. Cumberland County Fiscal Court will hold a public hearing on June blank date to be decided at X time to consider the removal of Skipper Lane in its entirety from the county road system. This advertisement is pursuant to the relevant KRS for removal of a county road from the Cumberland County road system. If removed from the system, this county road will no longer be maintained by the fiscal court. Removal of the road from the county road system does not close the road. It will remain a public passage. The total length of the road is 449 feet. Mr. County Attorney, do you see anything that would be wrong or that needs to be added to that public notice? Magistrate District 2, do you see anything that would be wrong with or anything that needs to be added to that public notice?
I think that about covers it.
We will send word out to the road viewers this week and let them submit back to us their findings and then post this if they deem it appropriate to close that road. Any further comments on District 2 Skipper Lane update? If not, we'll move to letter J in old business. This is the final item under old business, 911 Interlocal Agreement. Gentlemen, you should have, separate from your packets, the mayor has provided you with a copy of the updated interlocal agreement. If you would, please pull that out. Any questions or comments on we've talked about this several times now. This is coming back. We've gone back and forth. The city of Burkesville, the mayor, city attorney, and Burkesville City Council, they have reviewed our amendments and our comments to that and incorporated those back into this document. Gentlemen, do you have any thoughts on this item?
Judge, I got this Saturday morning, and I've not had time to really go over it good. It's a whole lot to take in. I'd like to table it, see what the rest of them wants to do. I've not got to go over it good.
Comments or thoughts from the rest of the court?
I agree with Rondell. I didn't get mine till 7:30 yesterday afternoon, and I've read it, but I'd like a little more time to go through it.
And that's fine. I think that's fair. But we will be, Mayor Irby, if you would please let the council know this too. We will be having a special call meeting this month because we have to do that to close out the month anyway. Do keep in mind we'll also be meeting where I bring forth the performance review on Ms. Carolyn Beatty over at the Justice Center. So we'll have opportunities to get this in before the July meeting. Was that in the form of a motion, Magistrate District 1?
Motion.
Is there a second? Seconded by Magistrate District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. And Madam Mayor, thank you for getting that information to us also. Moving on to new business. Under new business, we have budget transfers. Again, this is the movement of money within the budget to make sure things reconcile appropriately. You have a page and a tenth on another page there. Is there a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Cash transfers, letter B under new business, this is the actual movement of cash. Cash transfers from the general fund, from the grant fund to the general fund in the amount of $78,323.83. And then from the general fund to the jail fund in the amount of $37,000. Is there a motion to approve the cash transfers? So moved by the Magistrate of District 2, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Gentlemen, next, letter C, you have, okay, let me make sure I didn't skip something. You have the warrants, fancy way of saying the bills. Is there a motion to pay the bills for the month?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1, seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter D, an exciting point under new business. Tell all of your friends. Occupational Tax Cut Resolution. This is something that we've been working towards for about 2.5 years here with the Cumberland County team. Gentlemen, you have a copy in front of you of something that I hope that you will support. This was also emailed to you. The Cumberland County Fiscal Court has worked hard to pay down the debt of Cumberland County. We've paid down our debt by almost $600,000 just in the first 2 years. That doesn't account for anything since January 1 of this year. I'm quite proud with what you all have allowed us to do as far as paying that debt down and being financially responsible with the debt load that we're carrying. I'd like to now read for consideration of the court, Resolution 2025-01, Fiscal Court commits to financial stability through public debt reduction and tax cuts for wage earners. June 9th, 2025. Whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court recognizes that household budgets are different from public government budgets, but a commitment to limited and responsible debt serves both types of budgets well. And whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court believes that wage earners and business owners in Cumberland County have contributed and continue to contribute a large portion of tax revenue that is necessary for local government to function. And whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court firmly believes that there is a sustainable way to reduce the tax burden on those working in Cumberland County by reducing the county's overall liabilities down to only $250,000 in Phase 1 and later resulting in $0 in liabilities as well as a $250,000 emergency fund for Phase 2. And whereas Cumberland County Fiscal Court acknowledges that this process will not happen overnight, nor will it happen without a great deal of discipline. And whereas this resolution is being drafted and passed so as to keep the county government accountable to its stated goal of strategically reducing debt to be able to cut the occupational and net profits taxes in Cumberland County by at least 0.25%. And whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court recognizes that an ordinance will be required to cut the occupational and net profit tax at each of the two proposed phases of cuts. And whereas all members of the Cumberland County team remain committed to the administration's core values of fairness, effectiveness, respectfulness, efficiency, and financial stability. We believe this long-term goal of reducing public debt and taxes will benefit not only those working in Cumberland County, but also those who one day wish to do so. Now therefore be it resolved by the Cumberland County Fiscal Court, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the Fiscal Court and all its members are pledging to support an occupational net profit tax cut of 0.125% when county liabilities are reduced to less than $250,000 for 3 consecutive quarters, and then another 0.125% in occupational and net profit tax cuts when the county liabilities are completely eliminated, reduced to 0 for 3 consecutive quarters. For the purposes of this calculation, Cumberland County Health Services will be excluded from the liabilities total. In short, this means that when we go all the way down to just $250,000 of liabilities, Right now, keep in mind, we're at about $800-ish thousand of that since January 1 of this year. When we get down to 250, there's phase one of the tax cuts. When we completely wipe away the rest of the county's debt and have a $250,000 emergency fund, there's the other phase of the tax cut, making that an even 1% across the board on the Cumberland County net profit and occupational tax for those operating a business or working in Cumberland County. Gentlemen, I think this shows a commitment that you have all expressed to me, to those who live in and work in Cumberland County. You appreciate that they have paid the vast majority of this tax burden for many, many years. This puts all of us on record saying that we are in support of being able to give that tax cut to those who are working so hard to make ends meet and get our debt down. Are there any questions or comments on this resolution? If not, is there a motion from the court to adopt the resolution as presented? So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much to all members of the court and to the general public for the work that you will do in holding us accountable to that debt pay down. Gentlemen, moving on to road material bids. We have several guests in attendance with us that I imagine are here for this particular item on the agenda. At this time, I'll ask 3 of our youngest and very able-bodied team members to come up to operate the copy machine for these bids. Gentlemen, the way that this will work is the way that it worked the last time. I suggested from one of our members of the Cumberland County team and volunteers. I'll open these. They will make copies for you. We'll then move on to the next one. Potter's Ace Hardware, culvert quote. Gentlemen, on this quote, you will notice 36, don't worry, I'm not going to read them. You'll notice 36 different types of culverts. Out from that, you'll see the price per unit for each. These will be identified as the material, so if it's plastic or if it's metal, those are the only 2 options on there, and then the size for those. Abby, if you would, Mr. County Attorney, would you like copies of those?
No, I'm fine.
Make 4 copies of those then, please. Gentlemen, I will try as best I can predicting what's in the envelopes to get these grouped together. That looks like that may be our only culvert quote. We'll move on to Hudson. We've got road oil bid. Hudson Materials Company is pleased to offer Cumberland County a bid for all your road oil needs beginning July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. RS2, $2.37 per gallon. That's delivered. That's chip seal oil, excuse me. RS2 Special, $2.40 per gallon delivered. Total Patcher Oil, AE-200, $2.88 per gallon delivered. Cold mix oil. Enviro, $3.76 per gallon. High performance cold mix. Pug Mill, 30 cents per gallon for mixing fee of cold mix. Prices are subject to change with increase or decrease of raw material cost or state index. Brian Beeler, sales representative. Abby, if you would, copies of that, please. Thank you very much. Do we have our copies? Perfect, gentlemen. You're being handed out your copies now for those culverts. I'm going to give you a moment to look over those while they're making copies from the Hudson bid. And just so I'm aware, in case the court has any questions, you do not have to stand up, but if you are here with one of these companies as a representative prepared to answer questions, should there be any, would you please raise your hands? That way I'll know where you are. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, you now have your bid, what appears to be our only bid for culverts, what appears to be our only bid for the road oil. I do not want us to entertain a motion on that just yet. Let's open the rest of these just to make doubly sure, not to get the cart in front of the horse, but do lay those aside if you don't have any questions on those to ask at this time. Okay. Gaddy Shamrock, crushed stone, hot mix, and chip and seal. We'll open the crushed stone first. Thank you to their representatives for being here and making time. Number 57, 5 and 68 stone. $13.50 per ton from Burkesville, $10 per ton from Albany. Number 8 stone, $16 per ton from Burkesville, $14 per ton from Albany. 610 stone, $12 per ton from Burkesville, $8 per ton from Albany. Number 3 stone, $12 per ton from Burkesville, $9 per ton from Albany. Number 10 stone, $10.75 per ton from Burkesville, $6 per ton from Albany. Number 0 stone, $12.25 per ton from Burkesville, $10 per ton from Albany. Dense grade aggregate, $12 per ton from Burkesville, $8 per ton from Albany. Riprap, $10.50 per ton from Burkesville, $10 per ton from Albany. A crusher run, $6.75 per ton. All materials, workmanship, and equipment meet the Kentucky Department of Transportation specifications. A minimum haul of $4 per ton will be applied to hauls within 16 miles of the nearest quarry. A rate of 25 cents per ton will be paid for each mile beyond 16 miles. Terms of accounts are net 30 days. These prices will remain in effect for a period of 1 year. We maintain the option with the county to extend this agreement for more than 1 year if agreed upon by both parties. We thank you for the opportunity to quote your crushed stone needs. Look forward to serving you in 2025. 4 copies of that, please, Abby. Crushed stone bids from Rogers Group. Thank Rogers Group for having a representative here also. Number 2 stone, $9. Number 57 stone, $10. Number 8 stone, $14. 610 base stone and DGA, $8. Screenings, $6.75. NP shot rock, thank you, Abby, $7.50. Zero riprap, $10. Boulders, $10. Abby, 4 copies of that, please. And then could I have my original? Oh, that's my original. Thank you, Abby. Gentlemen, we'll give this just a moment as they make you those copies so you can consider those. Again, those appear to be the only ones that we have, but we'll open the rest of these bids just to make sure before we take action. Thank you, Abby. Gentlemen, do you all have those side by side now? Do any of you have any questions or comments on the crushed stone bids before we proceed?
Did we not get a bid on number 2?
From Gaddy? I don't see number 2s on Gaddy's bid. Is that? I don't see that right
I
away.
think you've got 3s on it, which is the same thing.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
On there, it's number 3.
Yes, okay.
Same thing.
Virtually the same thing? Okay, thank you very much. Shows my ignorance on that. I appreciate that, Bob. Any other questions? Good question on that. If not, gentlemen, please lay those to the side for just a moment. Let's make sure of other bids that we've got. We'll continue with Gaddy Shamrock hot mix. Tell you what we'll do. Make me 4 copies of that, and then I'll read it while they're all looking at it together. That may be a little more helpful. Thank you all for your patience as we go through these. Gaddy Shamrock LLC would like to quote the following price. Bid price of $94 is based on the price index of $590.71 per liquid ton. With every $10 increase in the cost of liquid asphalt per ton over this amount, the bid index will increase $1 per ton. The index will also work in reverse and prices hopefully will decline. Prices will be determined by the Kentucky Average Price Index at the time of actual work performed. You see an example there. The FOB price is $82 per ton based on the current KY Highway Index price. At our discretion, any tonnage amount under 100 tons at any specific location, a $25 premium can be added to the index price. All of the above quoted prices will fluctuate with the KY Highway Index price. All hot mix, materials, workmanship, and equipment meet with the Kentucky Department of Transportation specification. Terms of the account are net 30 days. This bid is valid for 30 days. Following prices will remain in effect for a period of 1 year. We maintain the option with the county to extend this agreement for more than 1 year if agreed upon by both parties. We thank you for the opportunity to quote your asphalt needs. Look forward to serving you in 2025. Gaddy Shamrock advertised chip and seal bids. Two pages of this one. Gentlemen, after this one, it looks like we have one more. Thank you, Mayor. Bids advertised, chip and seal single and double. Bidders should quote their best price per mile for both double seals and single seals. A minimum haul of $4.50 per ton will be applied to haul within 10-mile radius of the nearest quarry. A rate of 45 cents per ton will be paid for each mile beyond the 10-mile radius. County is responsible for purchasing the oil and stone. County is responsible for preparing and shaping the roads. If the prep work is done by Gaddy Shamrock, all equipment used will have a charge of $150 per hour per unit. A price of $2,425 per road will be charged for moving for all roads. 40 cents, 0.40 miles and under. Excuse me, let me read that one over for clarity's sake. A price of $2,425 per road will be charged for moving for all roads 0.40 miles and under. A minimum daily charge of $5,313. Final decision to be discussed with the foreman, David Branham. Road width 12 feet and under, single seal, $5,313. Double seal, $7,161. That is the per mile cost, is that correct? 13 through 18 feet, single seal, $7,161. Double seal, $9,600. Please note that the price for chip sealing is only valid if the chipping stone 8s or 68s are purchased from Gaddy Shamrock at one of our site locations. All materials, workmanship, and equipment meet the specifications of the Kentucky Department of Transportation. The bid is valid for 30 days. Terms on the account are net 30 days. The following prices will remain in effect for a period of 1 year. We maintain the option with the county to extend this agreement for more than 1 year if agreed upon by both parties. We thank you for the opportunity of quoting your chip seal needs. Look forward to serving you in 2025. Thank you, gentlemen, for bidding, and the rest of the company also there for bidding. Our final bid that I have in my possession is for asphalt, Rogers Group, Inc. Four copies, please. Gentlemen, please do, since this is our last one coming, please do keep those in organized stacks. It does look like we have one culvert bid, one bid for road oil, 2 bidders for crushed stone, and it appears 2 bidders for asphalt. Thank you. Rogers Group, in-place surface mix, $102 per ton. In-place binder and base mix, $96 per ton. For haul distances over 20 miles from our location at 292 Maple Mountain Spur in Albany, add $12 per ton. Pickup FOB pricing, surface mix, $85 per ton. Base binder mixes, $78. Pricing is based on KYTC average price index for June 2025 of $590.71. If the index changes more than 5%, pricing will be adjusted accordingly and can be discussed or confirmed by both parties prior to taking effect. Payment terms, progress billings to be issued monthly, payable within 15 days of receipt. Terms and conditions on the back. Make a copy of, oh, they've got it on the back, very good. Okay, gentlemen, we've got several things here in front of us. We'll take some easy things first. We've got one bid on culverts. Does the court desire to take action to accept the bids as presented by Potter's Ace Hardware on culverts? If so, is there a motion to that effect? Motion. So moved by the Magistrate of District 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. That's decided. Road oil, we have one bid from Hudson. Is there a motion from the court to accept the bid, the only bid that we've been provided for road oil?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Abby, if you would, as we go through these, I'm gonna hand these back to you so that we don't get these confused. Please see that those get to the fiscal court clerk so that we can put those in our bid file. Gentlemen, next, we will move on to crushed stone. You have 2 bids on crushed stone. What questions do members of the court have? Or what comments would you like to make? If none, would any member of the court like to take action in the form of a motion on those bids?
Take a form of motion, we accept all both of them.
Accept all bids, that would be accepting the bids as presented by both companies. I think that has been something we've done in the past to make sure, God forbid, something happens to one of those businesses, we still have the opportunity to purchase from the other. That motion has been made by Magistrate of District 3, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate of District 4, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. We thank both of those companies for bidding. Gentlemen, now we'll move on to our hot mix here. You've got 2 companies. We're looking at Gaddy Shamrock. They have given us a bid for the hot mix. They've also given us a bid for chip and seal. Rogers Group, they provided you with their bid. What's the will of the court? Or what questions or comments do you have?
On the, from Gaddy Shamrock, the $25 premium can be added to this price. If it's under 100 tons, is that correct?
The question, Paul, was the $25 premium that can be added to the price. That's if it's under 100 tons. Is that correct, is the question? Yes. Correct. Other questions or comments?
Judge, may I say?
Paul, please stand.
We've never done it, as you well know, but it's at our discretion. If we want to, we can, but so far.
The comment for those out in the crowd or for those at home was that they have never done that, but that is in there for their discretion if they need to.
It's been on every year.
Every year, yeah, I agree. Other questions, comments? If not, what action would the court like to take with respect to these bids?
I make a motion that we do the same.
Accept all bids
Accept all bids.
on hot mix and the chip and seal. Motion from District 3 to accept all bids, allowing us to purchase from each of these companies. Is there a second to that motion? Again, I'll ask one more time. If not, remember, this will fail to proceed as far as that particular motion. Is there a second to the motion to accept all bids as presented by these 2 companies? If not, that motion fails due to lack of a second. I'll come back to the court and ask, what's the will of the court? What action would you like to take? Or what questions or comments do you have for representatives that are here with us today?
I'll make a motion on Gaddy's.
To accept Gaddy for,
Their bid
on the hot mix or on the chip and seal?
on both.
On both. Okay, understanding then that locks in that price and not the other, right? Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry?
I hit Larry in the leg.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. That motion included the hot mix and the chip and seal, correct, Rondell?
Yes.
Accepting both of those. Abby, if you would, please. To the fiscal court clerk. Moving on to letter G, Judge Executive for nomination. We don't have any nominations at this time. We'll move to letter H, Cumberland County Flex Fund submissions. Gentlemen, remember, you'll have the opportunity on the Flex Funds to make your list out, get those submitted to the state. I do need you all to start preparing those lists now. And those lists have got to be done now. And get those back just as quick as possible. Questions on that, gentlemen? Letter I, you've got the S&H. Gentlemen, I've skipped an item here with the resolution. We'll go ahead and do letter I, but we've skipped the resolution with KET. The letter I, though, is the quote for the ramp on the courthouse. That is not a safe setup that we've got right now. They have pressure washed in the last couple of weeks to get that ramp ready for the ramp installation. Just wanted to provide that there for your all's information so that you know who's doing that work. They are local here. And as a matter of safety, we're getting that ramp put up, that rail put up. That has not been done in quite some time. The rail has not been there for quite some time. Is there a motion to approve that work?
Motion.
So moved by the Manager of District 1. Is there a second? Seconded by the Manager of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we'll jump back up to the joint resolution of the Cumberland County Civics Club. The Cumberland County Civics Club attended a Friends of KET board meeting the other day. KET has been very, very kind to Cumberland County and the Cumberland County Civics Club. The Civics Club Judge Executive and the Civics Club County Court Clerk, they have attached their name and signatures to their version of that resolution. I will now read for consideration our version of that. This would be in the form of a joint resolution in appreciation for what KET has done for Cumberland County Civics Club and Cumberland County Fiscal Court. Resolution 2025-02, Fiscal Court acknowledges Kentucky Educational Television as a valuable media partner and advocate of local youth. June 9th, 2025, whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court recognizes that Kentucky Educational Television provides a valuable service to all Kentuckians by providing not only news coverage from across the state, but also educational programs for all ages. And whereas the Cumberland County Fiscal Court believes that KET's coverage of Kentucky's youth and encouragement of our young leaders is a key part in developing the next generation of Kentuckians. And whereas citizens of all ages benefit greatly by being more informed and aware of events happening in the Commonwealth. And whereas the Civics Club of Cumberland County was appreciative for the recent tour of the KET production studios in Louisville. And whereas all members of the Cumberland County team remain grateful for all members of the KET team and their efforts to educate and inform viewers from not only Kentucky, but also across the globe. Now therefore be it resolved by the Cumberland County Fiscal Court, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the Fiscal Court acknowledges KET as a strategic partner for not only the distribution of quality news, but also for the advancement of Cumberland County's youth. The Fiscal Court recognizes that KET is responsible for covering events from Paducah in the west to Pikeville in the east, and from Campbell County in northern Kentucky to Cumberland County in south central Kentucky. We value the partnership and consider it a key part of Cumberland County's journey forward. Gentlemen, is there a motion to the effect of approving that resolution as to make it a joint resolution with the Cumberland County Civics Club?
Move.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter J, under new business, potential sale of surplus equipment. Gentlemen, we've got a backhoe. Ricky, if you would, please come forward at this time. If you would mention to the court why the backhoe is being recommended for surplus.
Judge, we was using the backhoe and I was driving and coming down the road and something must have locked up in the front end and it caused it to shear that shaft that goes to the front end. And when it sheared it, it beat the oil pan off. A bunch of other stuff up underneath, and with the losing the oil, we were feared that the motor's probably shot. So you know, we went through buying the motor to replace it not too long ago.
That's correct.
So by the time you get back into buying a motor, plus what the front end and all the other stuff, the drive shaft and the transfer case that shaft came out of, so it's probably going to, and it's old, had a lot of hours on it, so it's not worth putting that much more money into it, the way I would see it.
And the time that
And the time,
Jared would have to invest in it to do it. Any questions for Ricky on that piece of equipment? Okay, well, I'll mention one more, stay right there, Ricky. I'll mention one more as a point of consideration, and we just need to decide if we're going to include one or both of these. Pickup truck up there that has a bit of a knock in the engine. We don't know what the knock in the engine is, my understanding. We do know that it has a knock in it. With that being said, we've got to have reliable vehicles. We must have reliable vehicles. That truck that's got the knock in it is the one that was purchased, I don't know, 6, 7, I don't know, some months ago, not that long ago. My recommendation would be, if you're going to surplus that, we put a reserve on that. That's not like what the rest of the items that we have surplus. We need to be mindful of what we have in that piece of equipment. If we want to try to surplus that, it's a low mileage truck, 40-something thousand miles, is that right?
yes,
So if we do want to try to surplus that, we can do that, but we need to be very clear if we do that on identifying what price we put in there as a start, or on the flip side, if it's not a starting price, then at least a reserve or a minimum. Ricky did that somewhere.
yes. I've talked with Ronald and Jared's been talking to some of these people that have motors and wrecked vehicles and burnt stuff. Ronald will probably tell you what he knows about it better than I can explain it. But to me, I feel like if we can replace the motor in the truck, I mean, the rest of the truck's low mileage. And if you try to go buy another used truck, you don't know what you're getting. And it's probably gonna have more miles, and you ain't gonna find many 40,000 miles on it. Everything's gonna be over 100. But that's, you know, that's the will of the court, how we look at that. Some of the, what was the guy that you talked to, about 11,000 or something? Jared said something about
Motors,
11,000.
really expensive for them, but if you auction it off, you're gonna take a beat.
If we don't have the reserve on it.
If the reserve's high, you're gonna be at that.
Well, if the starting, I think that's true, if the starting bid, or if the starting amount is high, don't anybody hang your hat on this number. But if we put it starting out at, say, $100,000, you know, we won't get a bid on it. But if we leave that as a reserve, but start it out at $1,000, they wouldn't necessarily know, unless they watch this video, I suppose, they wouldn't necessarily know what our reserve would be on that item, so they know that there's a reserve because it will indicate that there's a reserve, but wouldn't know exactly what that is. Good points there.
Another thing too, it's, you know, we spend about $3,500 putting a bracket on there to put the plow on. But if you buy another truck, you know, we're gonna get back into that, another $3,500 to put another bracket on another truck, if we keep that same plow. And if we didn't realize that that was that expensive, until we got trying to put a bracket on a newer truck that was for an older plow. Because the plows come with the bracket and all the stuff equipped. And when they try to go back and buy old stuff, it's almost impossible to go back that far as old as that plow was to get anything to fit that plow. So that, and that's where we got into that. But, you know, you buy a new plow and spreader and all that, you get into a lot of money there too, when you start replacing all that with the trucks.
I wish we knowed a little bit more about what the knock was. You know, whether it is something that's gonna, whether it's out of mission or whether it's something that could be repaired. But I had a truck with motor went down in it, and I put a new block in it, a new block put in it, and it had like 60-something thousand miles when it went down, and I put 120,000 miles on that new block, and it's, you know, it was cheaper for me to do that at the time than it was try to trade the vehicle off or something, so I don't know.
And I think that'd be the best thing to do is buy a motor for this one. You ain't gonna get much out of the truck if you just try to sell it.
Okay, so buying a motor within, give me a high or a low here. Tell me what kind of financial confines we're operating in.
I'd say from $8,000 to $11,000 for a motor.
Okay, so if we can find a motor for not a new motor, but a motor that would be probably
New
equivalent.
ones, how much we,
17,000.
oh, is it 17,000?
A new motor is 17,000?
Is that for everything
Yeah.
or just the block?
Yeah, I think it was everything. 17,000.
So are you thinking the used or are you thinking the new?
We can look in to see what we get on mileage wise.
What,
Mileage is what we need to look at, you know, try to find something that's in the mileage for the money. But
right,
when you research them, it don't matter if it's 50,000 or 150, they're still in the same money. So you don't want to get 150.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first step is we've got to determine what are our financial parameters, and then what's our, if we find it within X miles to X miles, we say yes. Does that make sense?
Got the truck set up, we've got everything set there,
Can you get any kind of warranty on any of these used motors?
30 days.
30 days.
30 days to get it in.
Jared had talked to some guy, and he said he just hadn't had time to go to the truck and start it. He wanted to start the engine. It's in a wreck, and he had that motor priced at 11,000.
How many miles?
I'm not sure.
We can
He said
research it
it's low
some.
mileage. It wasn't low, it's 100,000, you know, more, but anyway, he had just talked to that guy, and he said he was really reliable, you know, stand behind his stuff. He said he's going to start it, make sure it's running, and it's good before, you know, just takes it out and sells it. But then there's a flip side of that too. Rhonda can tell you roughly what that's going to cost, maybe there, to get that engine put in.
The whole cab has to come off the truck, just to find out what's wrong with that motor. So if you ain't got an engine set there, that's gonna be scattered out everywhere, parts will be lost. It's just hard to keep it all in one spot. So,
What kind of warranty you get with a new one? 17.
well, it'll be a good warranty on the new one. I'm not sure what that'd be, but
I'd say for 4,000 or 5,000, I'd say to have a warranty.
I had to.
I feel the same. We done got the truck set up, there's a lot of money done invested in that truck.
Okay, for a new one then, where does the court stand? Give me some parameters financially to operate within. Purchase price.
What you said, 17,000, man?
Yeah, I think that's what Jared said, so.
How much would you lose on a truck you just sold it?
Well, depending on what you sold it for.
We don't wanna say that out.
I mean, this, if you just put the auction while they bring, I don't even know what truck it is. You lose more than 17,000, wouldn't you?
It'd be hard to buy back a truck with mileage like that it was for.
It's got tires on it, we bought, put on it.
Yeah. Got new tires.
Money's set up.
Yeah, bracket, sitting there.
What you get is,
You know what, like I say, if you get in trying to buy another used truck, who knows what? Unless you buy a brand new one. It's, I think Jared could probably do all that work. May have to have a little help. I don't know, if you've got somebody that's been doing that, or maybe getting on him to help him, you know. But he's been staying busy at York. I don't know if that's possible or not, but if we could get a little help from Ron to make a nice layer, it's, for somebody to leave with Jared and try to give him a little time. We've got some time to get that out before winter gets here. We started up pretty soon. Get them over, get the engine in here, do that. That's just the rule of what y'all decide.
We're gonna have a special call just in a week or two, right? Let's just get prices together and table the truck. I make a motion to surplus tobacco.
Is there a second to that effect?
I second.
Second by Manager District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. let's follow back up then on the truck at the special call meeting. Appreciate that. Yes.
Getting back to the backhoe there, that's put us down to one backhoe. If we have a lot of storm damage or flooding, there's just somebody's gonna have to wait because they ain't no way getting around. We had two and still didn't get there pronto, but, you can just cut that in half and somebody's gonna have to sit on the thumb till we get there. So I checked with pricing of leasing them backhoe. Same thing as what the hoe we have now, and it's $2,600 a month. At least would go toward the purchase, and I know that's, you know, we're not looking at purchasing backhoe, not even renting or leasing them now, but I just got that price. We did have something going on, and we needed to, you know, reach out and hopefully get a backhoe that, something like that would still be available. It does have a 4-lever controls and a hydraulic thumb on it, just like the other home that we have. But it's, we have to pull off and go bury a cat over. Got a tree in the road and we're doing something to the backhoe. And it's gonna put a lot more wire on the one. You know, the backhoes do a lot of work. It's just something to think about. But I don't want to jump it from the road.
You do not.
We done passed it over too much, you know.
Ricky, was there a hour limit on that monthly fee?
I didn't ask that.
When I rented one for a month and they had an hour limit on it, you know,
Yeah.
which I didn't use the hour, I didn't go past the hours I was allowed on it. But, I wasn't doing county work neither with it, you know.
But this is a used backhoe, and they just have it for rent, you know, rent to lease it out. And, he said if you know, you leased it for 6 months or a year, and then you decide to purchase or whatever, everything that you put on the lease goes toward the purchase.
Okay, 100% of that rental amount goes toward that?
Yeah, that's the way I understood. You know, I could
Just
get
that
back
particular
with him.
backhoe or anyway.
To be
Well, he
that,
said that, I was talking about
Yeah.
that, but I'm sure it's gonna be a lot less than a new.
what company had you talked to, Ricky?
It's a case,
Where they located?
Diamond Equipment in Bowling. That's where we always, if we've ever had to get one, lease one, they do all our work on what we have, and they here working with it. I don't know the year and how many hours it's got, I didn't get into that, I just, well, if we had to have one, what would cost them? Whether they do a weekly, daily, rent too, but, the best, well, was $2,600 a month.
Okay, gentlemen, that's something to keep in mind then for the upcoming special call meeting. Ricky, thank you for doing all that homework on that. Letter K, consideration of fencing at the annex. Gentlemen, no action required here unless you just want to take action on it since we are having a special call meeting later this month. What I would recommend, I want to try to explain what you're looking at here. What I would recommend is that you reach out to the folks in your network that you may know, ask them to submit a quote. We've got a quote here. This quote, this estimate is for work. This is not, so to say, a bid. If it was a bid, we'd open them all just like we did tonight. This is just an estimate of what they expect the job to take. If you believe that you have folks in your network who could do similar work, encourage them to also submit estimates for this. This is for a potential fence over at the Cumberland County Annex. You got two options here. Well, you got two options and then two options within the two options. First thing is if you're looking, and everybody see if you can follow me on this, if you're looking at the Cumberland County Annex, formerly known as the Recycling Center, front door of the annex is here. You've got a right gate and a left gate that we use right now for commodities, where all of those folks who participate in USDA commodity foods drive around the annex. Those gates are totally, those gates open up to a totally fenced in area. The sheriff has some, and I think he's still working on trying to get those cars out of there. We've got a pretty decent sized lot back there, but it is not level. It's not anywhere close to level, actually. We take a lot of dirt work, from what I understand, talking with Cumberland County Road Department to get that ready, using time that we frankly don't have on their schedules to try to level that up. So these two quotes, estimates, would allow for us to build out from the front of the already fenced in area. So if you take the existing fence on the right and the left side of the annex and you come straight out, to not quite that blacktop drive that goes down to the church, and then follow it up essentially in front of where you turn into the annex. There'll be a huge gate that would be placed right there. That would be the first option, just fencing in that little part. Now, a lot of that is already gravel, so we've already got a decent base there for stockpiling rock. We wouldn't have to form any type of a foundation there. The issue we run into there is if we do that, not only is that a little bit of an eyesore then just in front of the annex, but we also do away with all of our parking for the annex. That's volunteers for bonus food distributions or USDA commodities, anything. We also run into a big problem there with dumpster days, and we would need to be a little flexible on how we would handle dumpster days in the future. The second estimate that you're going to find, so we just talked about the one that you see for the 8 and then 11, the difference there being for a 6-foot fence and then 1 foot of barbed wire on top of that, or a 7-foot fence, 1 foot of barbed wire on top of that. The next one you've got goes to the right of the annex fenced in area. So extending from where it is fenced in right now down toward the church, we go down and essentially corner at the church, where the church is down there on the back side, come all the way up, not across all the way over to the blacktop, but on this side of the ditch, come all the way up, not quite to the church's blacktop on the front end, follow that up, and then cut that off. So we would go not quite to where that existing gate on the right is, come up to there, put in a gate there. That is much more level. I've talked with the road department there. They do feel like that opens us up to get some rock stored there, stockpiled there quicker than the other route, and it's also larger. So those are two things that I want you to consider. Again, if you know of some folks here locally that you think might be interested in that, do try to get in touch with them before this special call meeting. Unless you all want to take action on this tonight, I'll entertain a motion to either table this or accept one of those.
Let's see what you got.
I move the table it, and we might get some more bids.
Moved to table by District 2 Magistrate. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the District 3 Magistrate. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. KACO salt auction. Gentlemen, I'm asking for a motion to allow me to execute any and all documentation as it relates to the upcoming KACO salt auction. Is there a motion to that effect? So moved by Magistrate District 1. Is there a second? Seconded by Magistrate District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter M, Cumberland County Administrative Code Review. Gentlemen, do be aware, we've got this month to review the Cumberland County Administrative Code. Any changes that you see that are necessary to that, please bring to my attention prior to the next special call meeting. Nothing further on that. We'll move into letter N, discussion around potential special purpose vehicle ordinance. The Cumberland County Cumberland County Court Clerk has provided you with some information from their association, I think you indicated. And then I have also provided you with a template of an ordinance from KACO on those special purpose vehicles. Those are your side-by-sides, UTVs, golf carts, mini trucks. This is something that got passed in Frankfurt in the last session, the last General Assembly session up there. They have made it an opt-in for counties who wish to participate in this. This information today is so that you will have information to consider for the upcoming July meeting. Are there any questions or comments that you wish to make at this meeting?
I've looked it over and talked with some people, and I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer to me. I mean, everybody's gonna have their insurance, they're gonna have their license. The vehicle has to meet all these specs.
They're gonna be able to do that whether we pass the ordinance or not. They're gonna be able to get licensed and stuff. They just won't be able to legally drive it on one of their county roads. It's like everything else tonight. I'd like to look at it a little more. You know, we've got me and a lot of other folks that have side-by-sides that we use on the farm, and they say we can keep using them without being forced to buy insurance, you know.
I think you do have a farm exemption, is that right, Mr. County?
Yeah, there's an existing farm exemption now, yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't change that, it's just, would make it.
I just hope they don't get this passed and see how much revenue they're getting out of all this and say, hey, maybe we'll just expand this a little bit.
And that is a good point for those here, for those watching later. This is not something that the Cumberland County Fiscal Court is doing as a money grab. This is something that came from the Kentucky General Assembly that now they're allowing fiscal courts across the state to say, if you want these vehicles to be able to be licensed, insured, and travel roads in your county, you can adopt this ordinance or some version of this ordinance. So that's what that is. So gentlemen, with that, Magistrate District 2.
One more thing, and county attorney could probably tell me on this too, is since the state's passing this and everything, and if they go get inspected and insured and go through the process, and they go down the road on a county road and there's an accident, there's no way that it's gonna raise our liability in that no more than it would be if
No more than if it's a car or a truck, or my truck, your car, you know what I mean, it'd be just like any other vehicle on the road, yeah. They might have liability, but, the court wouldn't.
This can't be voted in tonight. When's the earliest it can be done?
Special call, we can have a first reading at special call.
Let's put it on special call.
Okay, and then we'll advertise, of course, after that, and then we'll have it for a second reading in July. Make a note of that. On that note, the ordinance, the sample ordinance, the template that KACO had put out that was shared with us, are you all comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, then a question that I have for you, we need to pull that up if you don't mind. I mean, take a look at that. We need to fill in some blanks here. Here's what it looks like, just so you all know. It's in your packet, yeah. This is what it looks like. That's the cover page of it. Yeah, that's it. Nice, District 4. Okay. So you've got on your designated highways down in section 2, option 1, street legal special purpose vehicles shall be allowed to the extent permitted by the act on all highways that are located within the jurisdictions of Cumberland County. Option 2, street legal special purpose vehicles shall be allowed to the extent permitted by the act on the following highways located within the jurisdictional limits of Cumberland County. So those two are different. We don't pick both of those. We pick one of those if we're going to go with one of those two. Or option 3, street legal special purpose vehicles shall be allowed to the extent permitted by the act on the following highways or portions thereof that are located within the jurisdictional limits of Cumberland County where the speed limit is X number of miles per hour or less. We do not have to decide that tonight. I don't recommend it. I know you've had a long meeting already, but I draw that to your attention because at our special call, we have got to fill in those blanks. Mr. County Attorney, do you agree with that? Any further questions, comments on that? Okay, if not, is there a motion to table that until our special call?
Motion.
So moved by Magistrate District 1, is there a second? Second by Magistrate District 2, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter O, invitation from VFW and American Legion for Flag Day event at Cumberland County Extension Office. That is June the 13th, 10 a.m. June 13th at 10 a.m. I know that they would like to see us all there. Does any member of the fiscal court know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting?
Judge, where we was talking about the fence there,
Yes, sir.
exactly. The hay over, it needs to be cut, bush hogged, or anybody got any ideas on what they want to do with that?
Magistrate District 2, 3, or 4, any thoughts on the hay that's standing over there now? I imagine if it gets cut, it needs to be cut fairly soon.
If you knew somebody that's taking up some hay, opinion, good.
You all are all more experts in this than I am. Do you believe that we've got, say, 2 weeks where we could let that stand before it gets cut?
It's pushing it, but yeah, it's understand.
Okay, here's the reason I ask. If that's the case, we need to get with Cumberland County News tonight and put out for bids on that. Anybody that wishes to cut that, that's everything. If you're looking at the annex to the right, that hayfield there, a teeny tiny little hayfield, but that hayfield there to the right that'll make several rolls of hay. If anybody wants to bid on that, drop those bids off to us. I'll get a bid packet created and get that circulated. We'll post that online too. So I'll work with Cumberland County
They
News.
probably won't nobody pay you.
You don't think so? Do you want to take it up? Okay, well, if they won't, then we've got a totally different situation there. I do think we get into a little bit of a gray area if we don't at least put it out for bid, and then we pick somebody and we say, well, I know a guy. I don't want, we have worked so hard for 2.5 years to make sure that we avoid those allegations. I hate to run that risk here, but if you do know a guy, tell him to bid it. So, any questions on that then, or if not, go ahead, District 2.
I just got one more thing to add, since we're talking about the area over at the Annex. When we ever gonna get them little cars, maybe?
Sheriff, would you like to comment on that?
I've got a constituent that fusses about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that concrete plant moved down there. I'm afraid if I move those 10 or 15 niggas over there, I have to run back out. So I am working on that, but it is it'd be a big operation for somebody to move it.
If you had to put a timeline on it, what kind of timeline would you put on it?
How quick do you want to move over?
Give me a call.
Yesterday.
We can move over there unless I can, but I was trying to work that, that's fine.
Okay, if we can get those moves, that would be ideal. I appreciate that very much. Is any, so do I have permission to get that advertised, see if we get something to go from there? Is there a motion to that effect? So moved by the Master of District 1, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Master District 3, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Uh,
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Does any member of the court know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before the meeting? If not, moving into adjournment, gentlemen, this is the first agenda that I've ever given you that had listed in adjournment 2 dates for the next regularly scheduled meeting. Cumberland County Fiscal Court is in the running. We don't know what the results look like right now. Hopefully we'll know this week. We are in the running for a potential award at the national level. If we were to get that, which admittedly is a long shot, but if we were to get that, that would have us out of town on July the 14th. So with your permission, in the form of this motion to adjourn, I'd like for you to allow me some flexibility on that date, whether or not we go with July 14th or July 21st. Any questions on that? Not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved by Master District 4, second by Master District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you all.